On course 6, can we have Alien play with Spotters? On course 6, let's have Alien play Spotters in 10 minutes. Alien has just finished their game. We give them 10 minutes to take some water.
Good afternoon. We are live. Quarterfinal Nemo versus Kcca. Good afternoon. We are live on Sporters page from Leje, and I'm here with Shadrach, and the game is Nemo Stars versus Kcca, quarterfinals, national championship. 43-41 in favor of Kcca. I think that's so far for me in Uganda the longest in terms of a set and getting to choose. They almost reached the record because the record in the world I think it stands at 46-44. It's rare to get Ongom going on the bench. Those are rare errors from Ongom, but that's the pressure of the game. But also being volleyball, the more you make errors, the more you score for the other team. Let's see if they can get a side out from that service box. It looks like KCA is still fresh from that game with the three pass there and a four attack from George. It's funny how the captain can still fly considering the state of his knees sometimes. The legend himself, he continues to, and he's a thinker. And he's a thinker because you can't play volleyball and not think. Another three pass there in Elijah following that ball, but he has been defended by George, but it goes out. They're really trying to put the service pressure on Elijah there, who seems to be quite stable. I think they should just make him move a bit because if you serve someone straight up, they're just gonna pass it and follow. I'd say they brought half the team, not a couple of players. They brought in Elijah all the way from Burundi, who used to be at OBB. They brought in Igak back from Rwanda, which is quite interesting. I mean, he went half the season and now he's back. They brought in Nathan, the other middle, was it also OBB. They brought in the experienced Nabanji from Sharif, who I thought he'd retired. I'm joking. I spoke to him last year. He was like, coach, I'm still around. That's true. That's true. So he couldn't join any other team. And he still looks comfortable, by the way. He still looks comfortable with those passes and with those defenses. Uh, I don't have a different idea, but I could say at the moment, because he's started season not playing, there are others who I would rank higher than him. But we're yet to see. Thank God he's back. We will then see where he is right now. And That is Ongom again on another unforced error. So I'm wondering now, is it an issue of the sets from JB? Are the sets too outside or he's not comfortable? It's about the reception, that's true, but as a player of his caliber should be able to channel that ball on court at least. On the starting lineup, that's not Smith, that's JB. Yes. That's true. The interesting thing, however, for me is the fact that they got another experienced setter and they even got a younger setter. So I would love to see as the season goes on how they're going to play around the three setters. But I'm hoping that the young man is also going to get a bit of play time. I mean, that's why he's there and he will be the future. So that ball going out unforced and we see if they get a side out, as that was a break point for Nemo. Yes, I however still feel JB is being lazy in his setting. We've seen most of his sets going to hoop. So far, how many sets have you seen that are going to George, especially off system? You could throw it to the foreside. Look at what case Theta is doing off system. He throws it for a hyper tap. Exactly my point. Exactly my point. Ongom or George. Ivan Ongom. I do hope Kcca will find a solution because JB is sort of making a statement that he really wants to be setting him. Yeah, so let's see what Kcca has in store to stop Ongom, and let's see what they do with the serve as well from the the side. That's Bernard, one of the experienced middle blockers, and Kcca tries it in the middle, but they're defended breakpoint opportunity, and they get the breakpoint opportunity still going to his right side. Do you know why they play or they call it the ace attack? Someone who plays that position, if I may find out that way. Mm-hmm. 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 So
It is 11:10 p.m. It's a little bit sunny. The weather has been beautiful so far. The volleyball coach have been smiling on to us so far. Let's go and see action continue. Guys,
and it's gonna be a free ball going over. Wow, how does someone send a free ball out of court? But those are the kind of errors if there's pressure on the game. That's a break point for Nemo, who are now leading by two scores, and obviously advantage being the way they're serving and their high block as well. And they get an ace save by Onghome.
Ivan Angom has played as far as Bulgaria, played right there in Rwanda.
Wanda.
And the player with experience has traversed many nations representing Uganda, carrying the flag up high. Thinking about internationals, I've seen the likes of Alan Ejeta around.
The likes of Angiro, who
Yes.
just arrived this morning. I haven't seen Cuthbert though, but I was happy to see him when during the MEM tournament.
So we have some of the international players that we do have, and during them we also saw the face of the familiar Dawood head of
Oh yes, oh yes.
decorated players
In
the city here.
let's say not only in Uganda but in Africa as well. Esau chooses to go for a dump there, which I always tell people. For me, I don't care how hard you hit the ball, what you do, as long as you get a point, and he does get a point to keep Nemo on a huge lead that keeps opening. I love the service pressure from him.
He's perfect timing from attack, but he is shut down right there. But there's a small collision. He takes from him. Remember, this is the non-contact sport that is quality. But it seems maybe took too much flight right and ends up colliding the captain that is none other
George Aforo.
than let's see if for them are fine. And they continue to be checked upon. But on the other side, we have a final the ladies category and it is KCC taking down in Asia. So far, KCC is leading that is 8 points and 4 position.
Yes, I have seen Kcca going strong this season. I saw them play the Rwanda teams, and they look like this year they really want to make a statement. We are back on there with the men's game. Iga, the opposite from Kcca, seems to be doing well. And George, the national team captain, seems also to be stretching his knees, and it looks like he's back on court, which means he's okay. And assist to the net there. It looks like the injury time must have taken time out, causing Esau to get distracted a bit. That takes the score to 11-16. And the score is now 11-16 from that era by Esau, which must have been affected by the kind of injury timeout that was taken. And they get the save.
Right there, but Esau, if you comes up with block right.
And block
But
I feel like Kcca, I did say it in the earlier game, Kcca just needs to penetrate on that block. They're getting good touches, but they're going all over the court because they are not penetrating, and the blocking skill,
basically,
yes, they're not killing. So you have to get your hands over for the bend of the net when you are playing.
hands on the edge.
Your hands.
Lovely accent, by the way. Right there, all over Zimbabwe, none other than Coach Memory, he corrected Coach right there. I appreciate you. I'm just rubbing shoulders with the best of the best.
Thank you, but I hope our viewers out there, you will understand when I say hands and he says hands. That's the difference in our accents. Yeah.
Right here in Uganda. Your name is Shadrach, alongside Coach Memory Dugu. On the other side, we have 2 games going on. In the ladies category, in Deje, KCCA versus Deje. KCC is regularly at 11-5. It's they've set for themselves. We also have a KCC taking on which being another quarter final.
Kcca seems to be comfortable. Nemo seems to be comfortable. However, we do not have the score for the UCU and KCB Nkumba. Shadrach, who do you think is leading from what you've seen so far from the Nkumba UCU game?
In fact, that is still seeing qualities. The couple of changes we see you. They lose the couple of players right there.
That's true.
Some of the middle blockers that they didn't have, and the rest of Akiri. But from the look of things and from what I know about KCB being Kumba, have kept their players, they just kept on adding on.
That's true.
I think we have to still the university side of this. So I'm trying to think KCB.
I also think so. I really also think so. Like considering everything that you've said, and we have Nemo still having that comfortable lead, 19-2, and it's a 3-pass there. Let's see, no middle, and he manages to score. What happened there? We've got 2 high blockers, but a shorter attacker going through. But that must have been because Ongom didn't set the side well and shifted to the side, causing the outside even more space into the middle, into the deep 6.
You only get it that here, the articulation, the explanation from the best of the best, that is Coach Memory Dube. Giving you an exercise on what's transpired right there. But this is the Sportest channel, bringing you the best of the best. It is NCC right here. And then remember, NCC was supposed to be held in Gulu, but for circumstances that were beyond us, it has been relocated and held right here. And we are surely having fun.
From Sharif. That's what I've been missing about him. he will stay right there. He will take the challenge on. However, from such a beautiful defense, we get someone going on the bench, and I feel like these are some of the things that as coaches we really need to stress. I mean, someone has defended that ball, just get that ball over. It gives Nemo another break point, and we get into the 20s, which is what we call highway, meaning they're
Exactly. 7 point position, they said to so themselves that ball almost coming off the block.
and as well.
This is the free zone option for the center. Well, I think we go through the center coming off the block right there, but it is almost an overpass.
That one is
Comes
too long for immense
exactly.
time. And Esau break it,
Esau
no
touch
touch,
goes for power.
and goes up. Yeah, yeah. It's interesting how at our level we still play so many rallies. You know what we call a mega rally. And in our other developed countries where we watch volleyball, you know, it will literally something to talk about.
Yeah.
Immense rally goes this long.
Oh, exactly. I mean, we're talking about international volleyball coach. I know you're a big fan of Japan and USA volleyball. You were just watching all the time. I saw you talking about Olympics right there on all your social media pages. You're just talking about Olympics. How exciting was it? And what do as a coach, what did you learn from that experience of watching the Olympics?
I think that you now really know me, you know. But I really like that USA as the underdogs. I would say they really came out hard. They really came out tough and sadful that I didn't get to watch Japan continue in the competition. But yeah, when I watch, I also take time to learn what are some of the things that I'll come here and tell my players as I coach. For example, what are the disadvantages if someone is past the 3 pass and then you still give them that role, which means the blockers can easily read that person is coming to attack. Why don't you shift it and take it to the other wing? You know, so those are some of the things that you asked that are
Either backward in one, backward in three. Don't make anything seem so obvious. The blockers are right there waiting for the opportunity to shut you down. So it's another service right there earlier on. But what's up
someone got
right
onto
there?
the net. Someone got onto the net and stepped on air. That should have been the middle. Willington must have gotten under the net. There you can see him lifting his hands up to apologize.
Exactly. But Abdul Harding has been a brilliant setter for this Kcca side. Remember, they have 2 setters. They have another setter all the way from South Sudan right there. So in terms of the bench, most of players are experienced. So I'm still talking about how stacked KCC has become, brought in a lot of players.
I challenged their coach this morning, by the way. I don't do Lugambos. I go straight up. I told them this year, you need to do something. Otherwise, I will really start to judge you. That's what I say to him. Because look at that substitution. Look at the opposite who's coming in. Jersey number 15.
Yeah, I mean, all the substitutions, it seems like the what? It seems like that is yeah, actually, Omua Carlos was representing Gulu just last season. He's a little player. Either he's on the front court or on the back court, coming to the back court. So I'm very surprised he has not been given a chance to start ahead of some players. But
He was going to have the chance. But then again, I appreciate the fact that the coach has played so much with Iga.
yeah,
So really, it makes sense maybe for the coach to trust Iga.
I understand.
By the way,
No,
he's
yeah,
really scored well for them. And we have the South Sudan setter who can be really cunning and so clever, and he can use his height well. Let's see what he can do. His name is Abraham.
Abraham has been given a chance.
Yes.
Pick up right there, almost an overpass. Let's wait for the call from the referee. Also an overreach from none other than William. Now, on the other side, it seems like the first set for the UCU and KCP Nkumba just ended. So on the other side of business, you can see it is KCP Nkumba taking on UCU. It seems like the first set ended, and we were debating earlier on the fact that we don't have the scores, but between me and the coach Memza, we were debating on who we probably think could have taken that set. And in chorus and in unison,
We are going to say
KCB.
Pumba. Somebody is asking here, Kulumba, you were with us the KCCA KBC game. You're saying how did it end? It ended in favor of KCCA, said before me and you, because we were routing the KBC text at least a set. So it ended 41-39 in KCCA. That's why you see KCCA playing Nemo for the quarterfinal, because unfortunately KBC bowed out. Who in the past two NCCs have gotten bronze, but they say they bow out from the group stages. What do you have to say about that?
It says a lot about the development of the other teams. It's not like most teams have been weakening. They have been strengthening. They have been going to the drawing board, looking for where the weaknesses have been. They have been picking up the pieces, making the adjustments, and it's not surprised signing the right pieces onto the puzzle, and they're right back into it.
Definitely. And Nemo is on set point there. That's a comfortable 9 point lead, 9 set points.
Very comfortable. That says a lot about Nemo's prowess. I believe they are too strong. They've been too strong for these yellow boys. That is none other than KCCA. Just like that, this one was a free goal, but he chooses to take a swing instead of just sending it over.
And he goes out. I want to tell you something. I was on the commentary box earlier on Shadrach, and the game that KCCA was playing is now quite a different game. I don't know why I'm seeing as if KCCA has already judged themselves and giving respect to Nemo.
Nemo a lot of respect.
That's true.
Nemo tends to have that effect on very many teams. They come into the game with buoyance. They come into the game with a lot of confidence, and just like that, the set has ended.
Like that, with an error from the service line. And so yeah, on the other hand, we've lost touch with the ladies.
On the other side, it is KCP in Kumba, and taking on UCU in one of the ladies semi-final, quarterfinals. And we also, on the other side, on the other court, we also have none other than Deje taking on KCC, right?
Yep, taking on KCC. And those two teams, normally, when they meet, it's normally a big game. It's normally fireworks game. It's like a final before a final kind of thing. And it's so sad that such teams get to meet at this stage, you know. So yeah, we will wait to see and get to hear the results, as we've lost our communication from the other coach. Do you think Nemo is gonna just go 3 sets, or you think KCC is gonna make a comeback?
This is vulnerable. Anything can happen. I've seen teams leave by over 10 in just the finals of that, as when rather the semi-finals, when the KBC was taking on Nemo. You saw a set where Nemo was leading by over 5 points. It was actually left with 1 point to finish the decisive. They lost over 4 points in a row. So this volleyball, it's really unpredictable. You never know what's going to happen. A couple of mistakes will hip up. Trust me, you'll be gifting your opponents a chance to roll back into the lead.
I just wish, though, that KCCA could try and think about how they play the KBC game. For me, volleyball, if you play the middle, you will not go wrong. So if only they could bring back that middle.
Remember, there's a trust in the middle. It's like the connection between the setter and the middle is supposed to be fluid, supposed to be relentless. So in the middle, you're supposed to keep going up high, whether it is a decoy or whether the ball is going to be set onto you. But it is your role as a middle player to come and raise those blocks up high and give your other attacker the chance to never know where the setter is going to put that ball. But you're supposed to hang in the air and play a decoy of sorts.
That's true, but it should not only be a decoy. They should actually be sets going there. That way, the middles will commit. If it's just a decoy, then they will just jump with you, or not even jump with you and go to the out. But the minute you set 1 or 2, 3 balls and you make a statement, then your outsides will enjoy the game of volleyball.
But it is the NCC right here in Indeje, in the Wero district, where we are witnessing history once again. Is Sporters going to come up with a 4th in a row, or is Nemo going to stand in their way? Not just Nemo, there are very many teams that I believe would put up a resistance right here at Indeje University, but so far not so good for Nemo. When they met that nemesis of theirs, that is none other than Sporters, they took them to school. It was a perfect sweep at 3-0.
I was actually disappointed by that game. I really hoped I was going to watch a final before a final, but it didn't turn out to be. The teams are back on court. There are the changes. Middle blockers have been changed. The setter has been changed. That's what I'm talking about. And the receiver attackers have stayed. I can't seem to see who's playing opposite for them. Can you see?
No, I can't see. It seems to be in the back view right there, where he's yet to come into the screen right there. But it is Nemo in the lead at 1-0. And it is Kcca trying to come from behind and pick up a set for themselves. Powerful swing block, and it is business as usual. It's more like they start from where they ended in the previous set.
Oh yes, definitely. Starting with a break point is always a good thing. That's one of the basic principles when you are in volleyball. Serve and block. And the minute you serve and block, you serve yourself a lot of using a lot of your energy. And you see that's the highest block that Nemo has. Though Nemo always has a high block, but the outside blockers are not setting the block well.
How about Mehdi? I mean, how many times have Abdul been able to trust the opposite? That is none other than Mehdi Ega.
Mehdi Ega harassed Kcca the game before, but I thought this past set they didn't use Mehdi well until he was subbed off. But let's see now that he has started if the setters will be able to remove him, to use him well. And there he goes, and he goes up. And that is what Mehdi will do. If you give him that, anything that goes to the diagonal, Mehdi will do something, unless if you've got a strong defender.
That was actually an improvisation set. It was an out of system set.
That's
the
true.
fact that the setter had already been taken off. He couldn't run onto that ball, but somehow it came out to be a perfect set. And they made no mistake. They capitalized into that, and they just picked up that point. Brilliant
middle set here by JB. That's a good set, and for me, that's volleyball. Welcome to volleyball. They first well play that middle until they're blocked.
This is what I always say about the middle players. It is a fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee. The hands can't hit what the eyes can't see. It is too fast. It is too furious. You blink, you miss that ball. That's what I know about the middle blocker.
Did you claim that, or naturally you know it?
I definitely know it.
And there goes something.
Yeah, like a butterfly.
Yeah.
And sting like a bee.
Wow. That's a good one. And Nemo takes the lead there with the captain, George Apollo, still serving. Kcca, the substitutes should be thinking right now because they've not been that effective. And Iga goes for a roll shot there, and the captain tries to dump in. There we see going on the opposite, and they're blocked again. That's Elijah. It back to Iga, blocked, touch, and they managed to score that one after what we would say was a mega rally thing.
When life gives you lemon, turning it into lemonade. That was not a beautiful piece of play right there, but somehow they pick that ball up, they pick up the pieces, and they pick up a point.
Now that one I know, and that was indeed lemonade because it was actually on the right side that managed to make that lemonade. I agree, and quite agree with you. I'm yet to see what Achol Abraham, the South Sudanese young man, can do to change this game, but also JB seems to have taken his game to another level, setting middle there, and that set was not quite good in
I think that's not something I would have expected from that much experienced player, none than Ivan Ongom. I mean, the ball was set up high, he was choosing to just dumps it straight into the block, comes back off his body. He's definitely disappointed.
It is disappointing, but for me, it starts from the setter. The setter should know well that most of these attackers push them back inside the court. They will not really give you what you expect. And let's see what the captain is going to talk about with the ref there. Is Kcca scores another break point.
But all starting from the defense. This is not the first time that I've blocked Ivan Ongo, but I believe I think John Bosco ending with his experience is supposed to realize that the person is sending those passes onto is not breaking. So he's supposed to look for another option. Whether they set the passes that they're giving out to him or not, he's supposed to look for options. You have people who can attack from the back row. That is piping three.
I agree.
You have
I agree.
An attack from the back court right there. You have a very good middle blocker right there by the names of we call him Redman Malinga. But he is yet to feature in this particular set. Have you seen him attack any ball whatsoever?
No, not in this set, definitely. I think he's just being too comfortable. JB is just being too comfortable. And At times setters will use the card that the pass is not coming, which is what is happening. But being JB, I believe he can do something with that ball. And we see a save there from Madinga. And that's what we're talking about. A setter who's going to cook. We call them DJs when they start to do this sort of
Exactly. More like he's spinning.
spinning. Yes.
Look at that
Great.
particular one.
The pass was not on point.
Exactly, but somehow flying in from the back and wreaking havoc, dropping thunder.
And I hope you all noticed how the middle moved. The middle moved to take away that middle block, and they get a break point, and Iga goes easy there, and then JB is still going easy, and another dump, and they're defended. Let's see if he thinks this time same thing. He's going with the obvious, and South sends the ball down the line.
Just clatters that through the block, and somehow it finds its own way into the confines of the court right there. That's how Esils just joined. Rather, he played for Thunder. Just over after COVID. I mean, he's very young in this game of volleyball, but somehow he has come into the reins of one of the best upcoming players right there. And the fact that they're featuring for one of the best teams, I believe, is learning from the best of the best. It should be. And he's being one of the best of the best.
I agree. I once told the technical director that one of the things that I would wish to do in Uganda is to coach the likes of these younger boys who are probably below 25. Come to think about it, and come to think about them, most of them are lethal, the Alans, the Ampiros,
Yeah.
I'd love to see what kind of national team Uganda would pull in. I'd love to see which country would beat them. We also have the Heroes.
Last time
Yeah.
we featured in as a national team is over 4 years ago. That was under the coach of Coach Sheila Omru Tutelage or Coach Sheila Omru Buyung. Just came to this team after 1 month. Doing so well, and we managed to catch the 50th position.
That was very good. That was as good as the block that we've just seen from Wellington there, blocking that middle attacker 1v1. How tough was that? 1v1 block.
In Spanish, and shuts him down.
And shuts him down, definitely. And Nemo Stars have covered the game. It's a 2-point lead game now, but the good pass, the ball goes to Iga. And every time Iga goes down the line, you should take note that it gets defended. So I think Nemo did a great job of not leaving that line for him so that he thinks I've got this, but then they know that it's his weakest side.
Yeah, the defense has been brilliant for this Nemo side. It's no surprise that within one, I mean, earlier on they were behind for 5 points.
That's true.
The resilience and that never say never spirit that they kept. It's they are almost into the lead. They're playing catch up right here. Abraham, a part of the church, coming into his cycle and option to the open. So,
And that's about
that's it.
I'm wondering if the attacker on the 4 ball is able to see that JB is blocking and go just down the line above JB instead of going diagonal where you're giving Wellington, who stands so well, having those touches, which have made a difference in catching up with the score, because now the score is 9-9 because of those simple block touches. So I wish that outside attacker could see and go down the line on top of JB.
Believe so, but brilliant pieces of play right here, 100 sets, and it seems like Abraham, the toll is taking up on him. He has failed to deliver that ball right today, and yet the reception was right on cue, but he fails to deliver.
And you can tell the coach there is just talking to him, probably telling him he can do better. And a pipe for attack.
Anything you can do, we can do better.
That's true.
Earlier on, it was a Nemo with all sorts of attacks, left, right, and center. But it seems that Kcca has a couple of tricks upon their sleeves, going to that back row attack, flying in and delivering a beautiful one. So, coach, what other games do we have on the pro?
We have Kcca versus Ndeje quarterfinal. Kcca is leading 1-0. We don't have the set scores of how we ended, but we know Kcca is leading. But we also still have a game that you can see live with us on the other side of the court, where KCB Nkumba, who are our current champions for the Uganda volleyball, are taking on the ever fighting UCU Doves volleyball. And we also don't have the score. We will find out the score for you. You stay in touch. Nemo is leading now, 2-point lead, and because the passes are not coming through, Elijah failing to pass. The service pressure is too much.
That right there, high on the set, flattering. Somehow he never got a clean touch of that, but he still picks up a point. So it is Nemo crawling back into the lead. They were behind by over 5 points, but the set we talked about volleyball. Actually, before the set started, we talked about volleyball being a game of uncertainties. They were behind by over 5, but I imagine
It
they
means,
have
it means basically they have had a 5-1 run, 5-1 run, because they've scored, now they've scored 5-2 run, they've scored 5, and the opponent has scored 2. And Kcca survives that side out by getting a touch as that ball was touched while it was going out. And we have
that is the Uma Carlos.
Roma Carlos away from Gulu. Yeah,
We watched him in his earlier days in high school. He was very little.
Used to have followed volleyball for some years.
There, up high on the straight through the center.
And they call him Big Will, by the way. Did you know that name? Wellington. Jersey number 7. Yes, Wellington Talemo Big Will. That's what they call him.
Amazing right there between the setter and the attacker. The ball was too fast.
Very good connection. And also he did try to look for that angle, because as a middle blocker, you don't want to go straight. Yes,
Into the
into
block.
the block. Let's see if he can
Wellington
get that
Richarlison.
ace serve.
That ball picked up once again. Up high on the set. Ball is recycled. They have options. It is the remix of sorts, and somehow
He manages to use that short block that I've been talking about. The short
Certainly.
setter, go above him, and also don't go to the line. Go 2 meters onto the court. In that way, you get your side out easily. And you can see the Nemo having a moment of laughter. They're saying, you know what, you did well. And like at times, it's good that players are able to appreciate a good attack, because that's a part of sportsmanship. That's part of the game. That's part of why we play, to also enjoy as well.
Japur with the pick up, gifted with the sets, and goes above the block.
Did you know that George is so good if he passes and follows,
Exactly.
especially if the pass doesn't make him uncomfortable?
I believe so, but the reception was brilliant from the evergreen George Aporo. Did you know Aporo means pride?
Oh my goodness, I didn't know.
Aporo means
Wow, I was not aware. Thank you for telling me that, because he can really fly. And the young man there, the libero, being on the right position but moving his hands. So in defense, Chadrick, you should just stay. The minute you choose to stay there, and when the ball comes, all you do is just make your hands stable, and that's what messed up the young men's defense. They're giving a Kcca a point.
Kcca with a chance to serve, picked up right there by SRSL, backside, driving that ball, picked up once again, improvisation 36.
And it didn't work out.
Somehow they are denied. The ball just clatters into the net from Iga Mohammed, gifting Nemo with that 15 points. So it's a 3-point cushion that Nemo has set for themselves, and from a lot of things are running away with this one.
They are running away. Nemo has a way that if you make them lead, it is hard to then get to pass them. They are solid in their mental strength. They are always calm, and they're nice at middle set as well. You see, that penetration that I've been talking about coming from Malinga,
right there.
and beautiful defense. The lead is extended to 4 points now. The other middle is doing a great job, but the middle, jersey number 6, who's called, I've known this player for quite some time now, but his name always just comes out of my head. Yes.
Improvisation set.
Ijongat. Yes.
Options right there. Through the center, and
Through
once
the
again,
middle.
the connection, the Bluetooth device right there between the setter and the middle attacker. Beautiful, brilliant piece of play.
Like you said, JB is here to relieve Smith, because at times he might get overwhelmed. But I also like that Nemo is adjusting to JB's speedy attacks, because we call them the Nemo sets, the ones that Smith set and up high and we block them. But I like this kind of diversion now from the Nemo that we need to say. That's true.
None other than Mohammed Iga
That's
with the
Iga again.
retaliation of sorts.
That's Iga.
Sweet left hand. How many? Coach, you've been around Uganda for a couple of years. Who are some of the best left-handed players you've seen here in the country?
I'd say I've seen Ongom. But I also like the alien young man, Silva.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He's my upcoming player. Just before this game, he saw me and he was like, "Hi, coach, I'm going to play." Coach, I was like, "Good luck, son."
Oh yeah, it's really beautiful right there all the way from Tororo, just representing an Mgongo vocational school.
Mhm.
He has won everything in high school.
And
They're up to the East African level, and he's rising up in the ranks.
true.
Definitely one of the best that we have in the country right now. Is really has that thunderous left hand. He catches you on the line.
And it was a
Going
good thing that he was also called up for the national team.
national team.
I mean, yes, and stop KCCA. The points are now 5 apiece to come and stop KCCA to lead and equalize.
Donning yellow and red is Kcca and blue, traditional blue. How about that hit right there? Somehow acrobatically.
Wow!
Pipe flying in.
Oh, that's
How about that beautiful piece of play from both teams? And somehow they just shut it down. That is the yellow submarines are the boy from KCC. But how about that beautiful rally and defensive plays from both sides of the team?
those were good defenses by Team Nemo. Those were very good defenses. And I would have loved to see Ongom reading that ball was going off court, but that was quite a good rally from both the two teams. And the serve pressure continues, and these guys were too quick to rotate. You know where you move before they toss the ball. So that's what they've been charged with. And normally players would always argue, but I believe the ref would have seen, and we don't have video challenge, but also you can't challenge the rotation.
Coach Bemza, I'm still play from both sides. I mean, attacks from the south, attacks from the north, from the center. Some of the liberal kept picking those balls up and giving themselves a chance to compete. But somehow this Kcca side picks it up. And right there, it seems like there's some infringement from the coach. That is Mugoda Alex. He's just been given a yellow card right there. But seems like Kcca are right on the heels of being at this stage before. They know what is at stake, and I believe they will pick one hand. They have one hand already on the second set. If they put the second,
Please help me here. Why do you think the coach made that substitution? The player coming in looks definitely to me short. It's not Fahad.
It's not Fahad.
It's not Fahad, but he looks definitely shorter than Esau. And Esau has been playing very well.
Man, that could be tactical. I mean, just like you, sometimes we will be watching and we see you put off a taller player and bring on Tizzy. And I believe from the look of things, it could be tactical. So you never know why he brought in as if to suffice to say, he feels that this is already in the bag. Maybe the set is already in the bag. And he's trying to give the other one, the other player, some rest that is now other than Esau. So I think he has brought on experience. But how about that mistake from this Kcca side? They are forced to call for a timeout because they're chasing tails.
I will take your point of saying he's just giving time to play for the other player, not to say it's tactical, because head to head, Esau versus jersey number 15, Esau is a better scorer. Esau can pass now, but also there's no emergency that can force them to make that substitution. So it could only be just getting that player to have game time, because that player is also front court.
I believe so. Now,
what do you think the coach of Kcca is saying right now? Because it looks like he's also even using his hands in playing that game.
I mean, he is an animated coach. He's what we know about most of the things we know about him. He can get angry on the touchline. I mean, he puts emotions into this game. It's not surprised that he got a yellow card. So for him to get animated, trying to instruct the players while using their hands as if to emphasize on the points that he's trying to pass across.
Okay. Yeah, I do hope he was just talking to them though about things like their blocks, because they failed to get blocks. They failed to pass well this time around. So for me, that's what
the ball was a little bit on the inside, and the anticipation was different from him. So somehow we never got a full swing onto that ball. It's no surprise. George with the pickup, flying in once again as if to say, let's rectify what we were trying to do earlier on.
It's what you need to do actually. You need to confirm. You're like, okay, let's see, because then you're not up on that player, and then you still have that kind of attack even for the next game. The game between KCB and UCU seems to have taken some time there, and by the look of things, it looks like you see a forced timeout, and they've managed to score from that timeout through a block. Esau underestimated that block. We could see him just choosing to dump that ball, and the dump that was taken down by Iga right there to take the score to 12-13.
But you also on the other side of the men's business, it is Tigers taking on none other than Ndeje. But up high, it was a powerful swing, but somehow it was recycled and kept into play. Coming off right there up high through the center, clattering. That was there an infringement? Yes, the referee was right there to watch, and it says there's a little touch onto the net, I believe. And either way, the ball had dropped into the confines of the Nemo Stars side. So it's a point for Kcca at 13 and Nemo at 13.
The timeout seems to have worked very well as they've gotten 2 break points there to catch up. However, the legends are seemingly starting to say, not on our home ground, making that statement there by leading 6-1. And Nemo fails to get that side out there. Opuru has had several good defenses. Yes,
No.
stepped on the line.
It's stepped on the line. Yeah.
And
So it's more. But how about the beautiful usage of the back row attacks right there from Nemo Stars? Whether it has been the opposite, whether it has been the backcourt in 3, that is whether it is Esau Esils, or it has been the captain, the evergreen Georgia Poro, all of them have been productive, and that ball has been picked up and recycled. Surely it is a free ball options for the sets.
Middle, no.
Set.
So let me tell you, there's something that we spoke about earlier on of how you can choose to zone out Ongom, and you can see Abraham standing on one spot. He's not moving. He's saying, we know you're coming diagonal. I'm just going to sit there. So it means they know that this defender is a strong defender. And I don't know if Ongom is realizing that this guy is there to defend, because it means then he has to change something on his wrist. However, we saw an error there from
it has been
from
Kcca from both sides.
From both sides, definitely. And good combinations, by the way, from both sides.
That is the captain, Ronnie.
Was that not Elijah? Elijah.
I believe it is
Elijah.
And he played for OPP just 1 season ago. And somehow, for reasons that are a bit administrative, OPP was disbanded and dismantled. So most of the players never featured. But for him, he managed to go to Rwanda and has been stretching right there, picking up experience from Rwanda. We have many players who have gone to Rwanda.
Point of correction, Burundi.
I beg your pardon.
Yes.
Those two tend to confuse us a couple of times. Burundi and Rwanda, considering the fact that they differently speak the same language. But both of those countries have been developing in terms of infrastructure as well as talent and skill set. They have put up a lot of infrastructures. And I believe in the next coming years, there is going to be a lot of players mushrooming out of there.
That's true. That's true. I mean, every time I go to Rwanda, I am wowed by the number of teams that basically can use their own indoors for training, use their own indoors for playing games. And it's the captain there choosing to say, "I'll go down the line." You can't open anything. You open anything for the captain, he will score, and he scores easily there to get that lead that Kcca had taken off.
Right there, once again. So it seems like the other game on the other side has ended. That is between KCB and UCU. But right there, it is improvisation set, and surely it is a free ball picked up once again up high, and Georgia Poru.
It's a beautiful set. That's a beautiful set. That was not a Nemo set. That was a high, quick set, because that ball was passed as if it's going over the band, and you could see him taking out, and George went on top of it. I think Kcca really need to do something, and do something really now, because we are missing the blocks. At some point they were giving us those blocks, but right now every attacker is going on top of them. Ongom is going above.
It's always about the brilliance of the setter. I mean, it's more like the middle blockers had committed already, but somehow he pushes the ball behind to rather in position 4 for none other than Georgia Poru, who just smashes it right there, clatters it behind the court.
And Kcca seems to be left with one gun firing, which is only Elijah, who can come from position 4 and from the pipe attack to score, because they've stopped Iga and the setter has stopped trusting Iga. And I haven't seen the setter trust the middle. Could it be pass?
I mean, there have been a couple of changes in terms of setters for this team. That is Kcca. But how about that rower of that after coming off that beautiful ace from the Kcca side? Elijah. once again.
Those are good points for me as a coach. I always tell my players, block points, ace points, my favorite points.
Yes, it is. Block in terms of defense. But these two teams, earlier on, Kcca was trying to come up strong in terms of defense. But right now, they are yet to make a kill block. And it has been Nemo just shutting them down. Up high on the set. And Ivan Ongom, the player who has traversed the likes of Bulgaria, has played in Rwanda, played in right here in Sportes, and is now playing for Nemo Star. So he comes in with experience, right there, one of the best opposites that have come out of Uganda.
That's a good CV right there. That's a good CV, and surely we can see all that through the way he plays, through the way he carries himself on court. Just generally a calm player. What I've noticed, the only thing that normally worries him is when he's not fit. You'll never see him quarreling, throwing hands, or being mentally low.
Oh,
There's a
yes.
substitution there, a saving substitution. And Benon will come to save, and he saves well. And can they stop that? They are
Somehow
off the net.
it is a swallow ball.
Off the net blocking.
Exactly. Comes off the blockers and somehow drops onto the inside. So it seems like these two teams are still going at it, and we are tied at 18 all. It is Kcca at 18 and Nemo Stars at 18 as well. But Nemo already has 2 sets in the back, and they have the advantage. So if they take this set, it surely means they are heading into the semi-finals, and they'll just be waiting for.
Good defense there by the young libero. And can the captain score? Good pick up there. Block cover is so good. And captain tries again. And this time the block goes on court, but there's off court, but there's a net touch there. I think Kcca has managed to try and pull up some blocks there.
Yeah, but George Aporo, his shoulders must be hurting. He has been carrying this team for a long time. He surely needs a surgery for that shoulder. He has been carrying this team from way back. Just like that, somehow that ball is kept into play. Options, the setter have
And good
a
pick up
beautiful
from
pick
young
up.
man. Good pick up, and they score. So the one interesting thing though that I have watched Nemo, and I have Nemo to blame because you need to shift that power from someone. I don't feel like there was a time, and unless if I don't know before, but I feel like there are times where a team has to choose to say, are we going to take this load off? But Nemo, for me right now, seems to belong to George.
Yeah, it is George Aporo. It's always been a George Aporo, and at a time when loyalty has been unheard of, there are very many players who have switched allegiance, switched all over to Rwanda right there, just in terms of because of finances. But George Aporo stood his ground and said, "This is the team I started playing for in 2015, and I'm not going to switch sides. It's more like I'll be betraying none other than old coach Nekomutse Ojala." I believe you've heard of him.
Yes, I've heard of him. I think I know one of the sons who I happen to go to church with. But we see Kcca, they're trying to hold on using that one-man guy who's tried to carry them for today's game, who's Elijah Apunyo, through that pipe attack that has seemed to work for them. The pressure is not enough as George comfortably passes that ball, and Smith dunks. He literally dunked that ball, though it didn't stay seconds on his hands. Like, that's how easily he scored.
Coach, we have seen JB feature in the first 2 sets. You have seen Smith Okumu feature in this third set. In terms of spicy sets, who has had the biggest terms accuracy?
JB was cooking, man. I mean, today, let me not lie, JB was cooking. JB was giving pipe. JB, we could see all sets, but with Smith, we've started to see that almost anything that is not good, it goes to George. And if you take a look at it, we've seen the Esau's going down in terms of attack.
Yeah.
He's not getting the goals.
He's not getting the supplies he was getting earlier on,
Yes.
but that connection was lacking a little bit somehow. But coming off the block, the referee was right there to see. He says there's a little infringement, a touch on the net by Nemo, gifting that to Kcca. So the Kcca is surely pushing them to the limit. They are right on their heels. Then we are tied at 21 all.
because all the sets are going to George. The 3 passes are going to what's his name, Redman. When the other middle comes, he rotates without getting a set. That pipe attack, it goes to George. Esau had a lot of good pipes attacks when he was at the back when John Bosco. So I think those are things that the coach needs to remind Smith. I think at times it's not that he doesn't want to, because I've coached him at some point and I think he listens. So we need to remind players sometimes.
Coach, for me, this is a better fight and a better game from Kcca.
That's true.
Exactly, because considering the fact that earlier on they were being led by over 5, Nemo came in and would set over 5-point cushions, 7-point cushions. By this particular one, they have showed them they are right on their heels. They have been effective in terms of block, in terms of coverage, and it's no surprise that we are tied at 21 all.
And it's also not a surprise that Ndege on the other side are still leading Kcca. Yes, the lead has been reduced 12-9, but they also seem to be trying to say, well, this is our home ground. Let's see another set in the middle that is being forced to connection, but is a bit too high, and it's picked up again to Ongom, and he scores.
Ivan Ongom.
Ivan Ongom. We spoke about the experience, we spoke about where he's been, and we spoke about his composure.
Ivan Ongom says, I don't scratch my head till it itches. I don't dance till I hear music. So we are not intimidated as Nemo. He goes up high and delivers a diagonal ball to pick up a second point for Nemo Stars.
I feel like after doing commentary with you, I'm going to get my AI out and then I'll see the words to use next time. I really need some of that vocab. I mean, that's good commentary. That's good use of words, and Kcca gets a side out from their gunman for this game, Elijah.
Elijah has been the brightest spot. He tried to put his fingerprints on the game for this yellow boys, that is Kcca. But the fact that he had no help whatsoever, he has been the major source of scoring. But on the other side, right there, it just shows you how much of a team that this Nemo Star size has. Earlier on, it was in the previous sets, it was SOS Seals who was providing most of the scoring, whether onto the front court or on the back court, flying in from the back. But this time, we are seeing shades of Ivan Ongom coming back and featuring and piling up the points when they needed him the most.
And for me, that's the game of volleyball. You need to be a team that can score from all angles. We see a substitution there. Willington, the big wheel going out, and Salva. I've been waiting to see Salva come on court. I think so.
Seems like there's some communication right between the referees and the coaches as well.
Let me tell you what happens. I am doing a good job on the commentary, and you must applaud me. So they are claiming that Willington went out at some point when Benon was serving. And I think I agree. It was this set when we saw that young man, unless I'm also confused, but I do feel like at some point. But what causes this is because we also came in not that organized, because I saw the score sheets that the association is using. There are those score sheets of just crossing. So somehow this is not going to be solved, because on our scoreboard, I'm pretty sure right now they don't have the right scoreboard to trace if he went out.
Oh, yes.
But I do know that Benon, I told you, I was like, Benon is coming in to save, unless if it was the other sets. But let's see. But I do feel like that they could be right. They could be right challenging that one.
But it is a 1-point lead from Nemo Stars as we wait for the referees to fix this particular situation. But we are still at Ndege University. It came up as the favorite candidate to host these games after that failure to host them at the Kaunda grounds. I heard the Kaunda grounds had some government event. So it's a reason as to why we couldn't feature that side. But Ndege was at the forefront. They went ahead to request to host these games, and considering the fact that they have the right infrastructure and they are not so far from town, I believe most of the teams were nearby. Really, I felt this message was beautiful in their ears, and they managed to pop up and feature here in Ndege. So it has been fireworks all the way from yesterday. One of the most exciting games I was looking forward to was Nemo Stars taking on Sportes, considering the fact that they were in the same group, but somehow Sportes came out with the last laugh. But many people believe these two teams might meet on the finals. we hope for a different fixture, a different fight from the Nemo side.
Yes, I do. I do agree with you. I think one of the funny things about us volleyball people, I'd say, I don't know about other sports, but first of all, we were not happy that all the games are gonna go be played in Gulu. That will be an expense, and then the games were shifted to come to, I mean, somewhere closer. And then I could hear other people saying, "Oh, how we have missed traveling to Gulu." So you'd never really know what people want. But I personally
Exactly.
wanted to go to Gulu, in case you want to know.
No,
And
yeah. It's not just you. Many people that wanted to travel to Gulu. For some of them, it was going to be the first time. For some of them, it's more like they were going home. We have a lot of northern players featuring in the league, so it's more like they were going to compete at home. But somehow, for reasons that were beyond us, we were not able to go and feature right there in Gulu. But still, we are enjoying the beautiful game of volleyball right here at Ndeje
that will not stop us.
University.
That will not stop us as we wait to see if the refs are gonna make try to recall what happened there. If the refs, because for all I know, they don't have the right resources to know what happened. So now it's an issue of them trying to see. As you can see, the scorer, which hardly ever happens in the game of volleyball, where you call the scorer to come and see to go to the first ref. So let's see what the decision will be there, because if the ref has accepted a substitution, yeah, it means somehow it was there. However, I still think during the set they had already made a substitution, and it looks like Wellington Talemwa is going to stay on court. Salva is not going to come on court, meaning Wellington had already gone out and come back again, but because the refs are using different scoreboards today, they're not able to trace us, which is where I feel like we are lacking in our countries. I mean, I believe it's not only Uganda. I believe Zimbabwe at some point in time will have such mistakes. Zone 6 is the Southern African zone. A team saved until they were on 18-12, only to be told there was a rotation error and those points were all reversed.
Oh, agony.
That was agony. I
Definitely agonizing.
find a rule that explained to say, suppose the refs discover, because it meant that that person kept serving in a wrong rotation. Because for me, I thought the minute the refs discover that it was wrong rotation, you just correct it, and that point where they realize that point only is taken away.
Yeah, but pick up. And this time coming off that technical timeout as they're fixing the errors that is from the referees. There is a block out from Nemo Stars to give this Kcca side to push them to 23 all. So it means first to 25.
First to 25, you're right. But Nemo has an advantage already because they have a side out. However, Esau is defended, which has been rare, and that good pickup by the libero there. And Esau has another chance, and those are quite good block touches. That's what you need. And as we spoke earlier on, we said that is the advantage of having a tall setter blocker. And Elijah does a rare mistake, something that he hasn't done today.
I call that a rookie mistake.
A rookie mistake, yes.
With a game of this magnitude, for you to know what is at stake, you lose this and you're going home.
And this is match point, by the way, not only set point, match point.
Exactly. Tries to go for power, but somehow the ball just flies over the court. And it is another point for Nemo. Pick up once again. Options for the setter. Up high, it is a block out for none other than Elijah. This time it seems like he fixed his own mistake in the previous set that they gave him, and we are tied at 24. So it means we are going to we are playing it out to 26.
We are playing it out to 26, but you'll never know because Kcca came from a game where they played it up to 41. So
that was an amazing.
That was an amazing game right there. But let's see who gets to the first two difference first. And Ongom going up high. It gets that side out. They lead 26-24.
Is this the point that breaks their hearts? Is this the point that breaks their hearts? So it is Nemo Stars that will be serving.
There's nothing left.
Yeah, they can. Yeah, but the voice is okay. So pick right there. Wellington with a floater. throws that ball into the back court. The set.
Good middle attack there. Obviously going on the side of the shorter blocker.
What you talked about in the beginning.
Like we said, that change in the set speed is giving room to Kcca to be able to block those sets, you know. So you've seen a couple of blocks there from Abraham Achol, but we've also seen Abraham Achol being able to use the combinations, the pipe combination, and a bit of middle attack there. However, we've missed the two-set attack behind.
Abraham is a taller blocker, but Smith once again the back set, and this time roses are red, violets are blue. These boys are nothing but trouble.
That was a good set. That was a good set. But I'm wondering where the roses are red saying gets in. But that was cool. That was a cool set there. And obviously Ongom choosing to go his usual wing where he scores best. Let's see if they can get a break point, or let's see if Kcca will say no, we have the advantage because we are on the side out. Is Kcca ladies are struggling on that third set there, and Ndeje choosing to come back. It looks like Ndeje has been using a middle attack, and a middle is forced there, and George picks it up, and Esau goes.
Somehow the referee has called for improvements. It seems like that backcourt was a step onto not a backcourt, rather. It was a step on the line,
Center line violation there. Center line violation.
That is from Ngom. He shakes his head as if to say is not in agreement with the referee, but options for the sets are back set once again, and this time goes up high.
And there's no middle blocker to assist. Where would you go? Get on that court deep inside the 6 meter, just outside the 3 meter line, but on the 6th position.
How about that flight, the hang time, and it drops a thunderous one right there, looking the backcourt.
I must say there was good execution starting with the pass. I could see the young men getting under the ball, this pass with that follow through, and the setter, you couldn't tell if he was setting middle or he was setting behind, and that was good.
Back set coming off the block, and it seems like Kcca are trying to let them know we are right on your heels. We know about the experience. We know you have some of the best, most gifted players right here in the country, likes of Ongom and Oporu.
But we will not back down.
We are not respecting you on this sunny day. Just 1 point separating them from taking this. SLs.
To be honest, these past 2 sets, Smith has set very well. He has set very, very well. He reads the block. He reads what the middle blocker has done, and the attackers go up there, and there's only one block. Surely, who will not score if there's only one block?
SL started his career right there in 2021 at Thunders, but somehow has risen through the ranks and coming off the block. That is none other than the best player that is Kcca side has had, none other than Elijah.
And I feel like it's pretty easy for Nemo. It should be pretty easy for Nemo to read that most of the balls right now are going to Elijah, and just leave that middle and just go and mount on Elijah. However, Elijah has really menaced them. I've looked for that word and thought about it carefully. Elijah has menaced them there, giving Kcca that ability to have a side out. Can they get that side out? No, they doesn't. In fact, that's a set point, and that's one set has gone, and
Kcca
one.
Climbed all away from the gutter, and they picked up a set.
For me, I think it's an issue of that change of the setter there. Something different by Smith and something different by JB, but the question still stands. We all know that JB plays 1 or 2 sets because of his injuries, and you can tell he's literally putting on his jacket right now. So will Nemo come back?
But apart, it's not just majorly about the fact that they changed the setter. I mean, you really have to give kudos. You have to give these cases aside their flowers. The fact that they kept on coming from behind, right there, chasing the tiles, holding the tiles of Nemo Stars side. Nemo Stars seem to have been running away with this when they reach around 22-21. But somehow their blocking abilities of this Kcca side somehow helped them to pick up the last points, pushing Nemo Stars to the limit. And it is no surprise that we are going for a fourth set, sir.
And the same thing with the ladies' side. It looks like Ndeje has stopped that Kcca run as they finished the set comfortable there, 25-18. And it looks like it's game on. Both these games with Kcca men, who everyone would have thought, oh, maybe Nemo was going to finish it up, but have managed to stand strong there and finally get the set through the young men, mostly Elijah, who's been providing them with most of their side outs.
So we are just waiting for the fourth set, but so far, Kcca has just answered the Nemo call.
Oh, yes. So, as you say, it's not over until it is over. Okay. From the Sporters YouTube page. Nemo Stars are leading 2-1 in sets, and we saw Kcca holding on that third set and having to fight it out until it got to the wire. By the wire, I mean until it got to juice. And Kcca has maintained their team. While also Nemo has maintained the team that finished the last set, and we see Elijah still scoring there. He's been a scoring machine, so that's the first side out from him, and they lead 1-0. I think the question that many fans will have is, why did Nemo change the setter who had won 2 sets and start with Smith, who will give them high balls that Kcca can literally wait for and play easily, as we see Kcca getting that break point again with Nemo failing to break that serve. It's a good pass there, and Redman hits the ball out. 3-0. Kcca starts the sets very well to try and fight to get that lead, and still they're getting those touches, and I do feel like those sets are too high, but they also lack speed. That's why Kcca, if they only can just penetrate, they will get those balls down, and Kcca Nemo gets their first point there. The score should be 1-3. And Redmond gets a block there to make it 3-0. Meanwhile, Kcca led is leading the third set 5-1. Good pass, the guys blocked. They managed to retrieve it and back to, and Angom manages to get a point. So apparently, they are saying that that was 4 balls. They are saying that the ball was dumped on the net. However, Nemo seems to refuse that, and the first ref refuses to look at the second ref, and looks like the point is going to go to um, Kcca, which leaves Kcca still leading 4-3. So if you're new in volleyball, generally there are some calls that the second ref can help the first ref make, but however, some first refs will stick to saying, you know what, if this is my call, this is my call. And Redman makes a statement there to get the points for all by that middle attack that Smith nicely sets to him, and the scores are 4 apiece. Let's see if Kcca are going to be upset by that, or they're just going to say it's just 1 point. It may be hard, but it's just 1 point. Even as they get ready to receive, I'm wondering why they are saving the libero right now. And Iga goes out cold, and that's a break point for Nemo Stars by that unforced error. However, I still think that's poor service because if you're gonna save the libero, but not only just not any other ordinary libero, but Sharif. If you're saving Sharif, definitely you are asking for the ball to come as fast as it can back to your side. So Nemo, right now you can see the screen is moving, going to the other side, and we do have Ongom with the hand up, which lately it has been called screening, but the refs are not realizing that, and that back row attack goes outside again. The ref has said the ball is on court. Nemo has failed to stop that backcourt attack by Elijah Cosma Sapunyo, the Kcca young man who used to play in Burundi last year. Poor pass from George, and it's given to Ongom. Can he score? Yes, he does score down the line easily, which is not his strongest side. So we have Nemo just having that narrow 1 point lead there. Both teams playing combination play, both teams going hard on each other, and Nemo just getting that 1 point advantage.
I had taken a small sabbatical, but I'm back right here, and the story stays the same. Both teams try to get into the semi-finals. It seems like Nemo had taken that first step into the semi-finals, but KCC was trying to fight back. The ball just rattles off the net a couple of times, ricochets, and gifts this Nemo Stars with their 8 points, 7 points rather.
That was a good save, by the way. It was a drop save right on the 3-meter line, and the libero had to try and move forward, thereby disturbing everyone. And that was another good save. But however,
they touch on the ball. I believe
boy takes it out of court. I think they are rushing. They need to calm down a bit right now. Just focus on the passing first, point by point. They will get there. However, you can see the rushed passes, the rushed sets, as well as the rushed attacks.
Nemo with the service is a floater. Pick up right there. Up on the set. Wow. Power and pace.
Iga is back. That's his trademark.
Iga Muhammad. Remember earlier on, he never got a test of the third set. He didn't get much of it.
He didn't get much of it, yes. And they managed to clinch it without him. So do you think they will use this one because he's back on court?
No, I believe the fact that he was on the bench, he was more like he was in hibernation. More like he was revitalizing, getting his energy back, and it's no surprise. In the previous sets, he was not delivering attacks of that sort. I believe him going onto the bench and sitting for a little bit, the revitalization has just given him the energy that he required.
You are right. I agree with you. It does help to change a player and put them back on. However, remember what we always talk about. Why do you change a winning team? Because that's the team. The sets were 2-0 until he joined, and then now the sets, they won the set without him, and the coach throws him back again. So for me, that's like a disservice, but we just live to see if the coach made a good decision there. But we see that down the line are going well, and they've now equalized.
It has been KCC with shades of seriousness, picking up that hard point right down the lane and going at none other than Ivan Ongom.
That's true, and they are really picking those shades of seriousness on both sides, because the ladies right now, we are told it's 11-4 in favor of Kcca in that fourth set, and Nemo SOS going very, very high on that attack and going that diagonal, acting as if there's no block there. This young man.
Esau Esils, a paramedic, is a young lad just in the game for just around 2-3 years, but the seriousness and
Featuring in
list
Coach
on it.
Emza's 14.
Exactly. Abraham flying in right there, but the connection was lacking a little bit from Mohamed Iga.
There was no block.
I almost thought him coming off the bench, he'll come into this strong, but mistakes of this squad, the kind I call rookie mistakes, have just cost them a point.
I think he got carried away. Most of the times when players see no block, they think of how fast can I get the ball down, more like to hit it very hard. Yet it should be, how should I score? So we see him getting that error there. But we see the Nemo captain, George Apuru, who carries his team, going to say something to the first ref there. I hope they are agreeing.
The name George Apuru Apuru actually means flight. I told you in Iteso that Ding comes off behind the block and drops onto the inside. That is
lazy from the libero.
That is
lazy from the libero.
Consider the fact that he was the one covering the line. He should have gone in for a pancake, I believe. Otherwise, he should have tried.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed by your language in terms of volleyball and the things that you know.
That's a dump right there.
And the last touch comes from Abraham Achol. Abraham is actually very clever with those. He's actually very clever. Sadly, the refs read him this time around, still giving Nemo that slight lead there. And we have Redman back there, who, when this set started, Smith was making a statement using him while my colleague had taken a break here. I must tell him that Redman Malinga has done a great job in maintaining this set to this point, 2-point lead.
Pick up once again. The ball was set a little bit behind. The chase is on, and surely it is a free ball. Nabanji with the pick up. Ball in flow comes off the blow for attacker, and the combination of none other than Smith Okuma and Redman Malinga shuts him down.
It shuts him down, but also it shuts him down because you see that set is not going to the 4 position. It's going more to the 3-half position, and it's easier for the middle center blocker to just make one step and penetrate on that set. So we would love to see the sets going way onto the line, and he makes another error again, and he looks at the ref, but the ref doesn't call.
The positivity I've seen on the Kcca side is that the delivery from a libero, that's Nabanji Sharif, taking a sabbatical for 1 year and coming back strong with such sumptuous receptions, spicy receptions, giving the setter a chance. That's Abraham, a chance to set amazing balls for the attackers.
But definitely Shadrack's favorite player. But you can see even that the quality of that set that he set right there to say, you know what, he's also a quality libero. Did you know that liberos are the second setters in case the setter defends?
I do. So it's out of system set. In case the setter has failed to get into that ball, it is a libero who comes with those powers. But
he did it too well.
Definitely.
One of his teammates was confused, but that's what it takes if you've got experienced players who have played for quite some time. We see another dump there, and fortunately it goes through as the captain, Nemo Stars, goes down, and the score is 10-13.
10-13. Kcca as right now staring in the eyes of being behind. It is a 3-point lead for Nemo Stars, and most of the times when Nemo is going away, it seems like they're holding the grip, putting a grip onto the lead, but it seems like Kcca has a small hill to climb right here. Back flying in, and the block, somehow the ball ricochets and is kept on, but we almost thought that was a ball, but just like we mentioned, when life gives you lemon,
you make lemonade.
Isn't a spicy play, but somehow it ricochets, they keep around that ball, and somehow that is none other than experienced Smith Okumu sends it over.
That's true. I respect Smith in a lot of aspects. He's it's so hard to coach old players, but with Smith, you can actually coach him. You can tell him what to do. Yeah. So
basically, he's coachable.
He's coachable. He is indeed coachable. However, Elijah does get that ball across the net, deep into the 9th meter of the court too.
As a coach, have you come up around players who are not coachable, who have given you a hard time in terms of coaching?
Before I answer, we are not going to ask. You are not going to ask for names?
No, I won't ask for names at all.
I've
won't,
coached
I
a lot
won't.
of them.
And the uncoachable.
That
So
they are uncoachable. That at some point I've even told, you know what, play what you like, but I promise you, you will not win.
and what medication did you come up with?
Put them on the bench.
Put them on a bench.
Yes, but at some point in my life, I would not be having maybe another player for that position, but most of the times I would
But
put them on the
I
bench.
think it's high time Iga goes back to the bench again. I mean, I'm very sorry to say that, but it seems like Iga has not been providing positivity for this Kcca side. Earlier on in the previous set, he was on the bench, and the player that is Carlos, the likes of Carlos Somoa, did the team good service. And it is no surprise that they took the previous set. Still talking about the man himself, that is Iga, just clatters that ball off the antenna onto the outside. So it's more like in this particular set, he has gifted this Nemo side with over 6 easy 3 points. Those are rookie mistakes I wouldn't expect from a player of his caliber. Beautiful pickup right there, throws his body on the line, that is the libero, and somehow skips that ball into play. Coming off the block, Iga doesn't seem to have a way through, but this time the dump, the little user, most of the times they are going for power and pace and energy, and they couldn't find a way through that beautiful block of the Nemo Stars, a combination of that is Malinga, Ongom, as well as Smith. But this time they just choose to go for a dink, and he manages to pick up that point. So the long-awaited substitution is coming in, and it's no surprise that Iga is coming onto the bench. He has been not been delivering for this Kcca side, so he puts his arm around the waist. He's definitely disappointed in himself. The fact that he goes onto the bench, sits a little bit in the previous set, and I believe, as if to say, he was in hibernation, but he comes of it off that bench and still delivers the worst that we expected out of him. So it is still Nemo Stars and Kcca through the center. The connection between these two, this is like bread and butter. That is between Smith Okumu as well as this Redman Malinga. I can't count how many times they are featured together in this Nemo Stars team, or as featured together in the national team, but the connectivity seems to continue up to this particular time. So we almost thought John Bosco Opendi would come in for that is Smith Okumu. Remember, John Bosco Opendi played the first 2 sets, and it was fireworks for Nemo Stars. They went into the lead, they held on to the lead, and they managed to take the advantage for the first two sets. So somehow Kcca came back in the third and gave them a bloody nose. But this Nemo Star side, a team that has been in such stages before, knows how to treat this, and the doctor's orders have been that is to Smith Okumu. The doctor's orders have been gift the balls to the likes of George Apuru, player with almost 90% productivity. He has really been delivering for this Nemo Star side. So it is Nemo at 18. It's a 5-point lead, and they seem to be running away with this one. Pick up options for the setter. They are brought back. That is none other than Mbago, the setter, who had been outside in the previous set, and they are put off Abraham Chol Majok.
Yes, they've brought him on, but I sort of don't see the difference yet, you know. But let's see how the pass goes. Meanwhile, the Kcca ladies are running riot over Ndeje. The score is 21-7 on that 4th set, and we see Esau going high on the men's game pick, but the defense is good. And
is that
out, or the captain touched it?
Ball is on.
No, the ball is off, but the captain touched the
Touched
ball
it a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, as if to say, he had 2 thoughts in his mind, as if to play that ball. But remember, that ball comes at you fast like a wrecking ball. So any slight second, there is a touch onto you, and just like that, a captain gives Kcca with the points.
I do want to see what Africa getting the speed measuring to measure the speed of
I know the speed of bike, the kilometers.
Yes.
We are yet to have that technology around here, but it is baby steps.
It is.
It's baby steps. Soon or later we shall have those. We are just heading into the technological era. That is surely and surely. So who would know that Sports would be airing these
I know, I know.
on TV. So for the people who are outside there, I know someone from all the way in Sweden. He's called Eric Ogwang. He's a beautiful fan. I think he played for KV
No,
those
Eric
years.
Ogwang.
Yeah.
I said I don't know Eric Ogwang. I know he once came for a training session, and people were telling me, "Oh, Eric used to be as small as Ronnie,
yeah.
and now he's this big guy."
Yeah, Eric
It is
Ogwang.
yeah.
So he's watching all the way from Sweden. He's not the only one. I have friends all the way from Tanzania, from very many friends around the world. And you coach yourself, I believe the player, it's people you have coached, as well as your family right there in Zimbabwe, out there having fun hearing your voice right there on the airwaves of Sport. So it's about technology and baby steps. If we are transitioning into technology, sooner or later, we are surely going to be able to see that.
That's true, actually. To air 2 games at one given goal, for me, it strides. And I do hope that there are Zimbabweans watching. It was an error defense by Sharif, which is rare, very, very rare. That ball was going out. Sharif touched it, and now the service was going out, and they've touched it, giving Nemo a comfortable lead to simply wrap up the set. And that is Wellington serves well normally. I have kept tabs on his serve. Talemwa has got a very good float that you think is going out or he's dropping, but they managed to pass this one well and got blocked out by Smith. I love the fact that Elijah is going to the short man block.
Beautiful usage of the short block. And just like that, Kcca 17 and 21 for Nemo. So it's only 4 points separating them. But just like we mentioned earlier, volleyball is an interesting game that change any minutes. How about that energy from that is the setter, Jazzy number 2.
Catching the net as well. Using that point,
there was a touch on the net.
Leaving the point with that. It's interesting how that battle of the setters and middle blockers, it's always the setters who win it, in case you had never noticed. Another pass that has gone to the wild end. George gets defended and they try again. He's overpassing. Esau is rushing those passes and those guys home. I don't know why he's rushing those passes.
I'll not be surprised if the Nemo coach calls for a timeout, because they were ahead by over 5 points, and now Kcca is right on their heels. It's only 2 points that are separating these two sides. Just like I mentioned, I'm not a foreseer. I'm not a prophet.
You have watched volleyball for so many years.
From the look of things, it seems like things are going astray, and they are forced to call for a timeout. What do they need to fix?
They just need to fix that pass. Esau needs to get under that ball without rushing. It's as if he's passing, saying, I want to pass, and then you said for me. Yes, yet he's actually backcourt, and we haven't seen a lot of backcourt from Smith. So he should commit to that pass for George, pass for that middle, because right now I believe in the middle we are having Redman.
Yeah, Redman Malinga. And he's very productive and lethal. You give him 10 balls, you're sure he's going to score 9 of those. So whether they are not nice balls, somehow the fact that he has a long reach, he manages to just dump that ball over the blockers. So he really has to make use to capitalize on the fact that it's Redman on the front court.
I agree with those statistics. I agree. But let's see what plan he has, because he also happens to have George on front court, and we've seen him setting less for Ongom, resting Ongom. That's a good pass, and our guess was so good, and there was Redman not hitting it as you said. You are a volleyball commentator, my friend.
Thank you very much, Coach. Now, just like we mentioned, we told you we are not prophets, but we surely know where the play is supposed to go. I mean, he's not the kind. Look at the middle blocker on the other side. How tall is he? He's just around 6'2", going up against someone who is over 6'4", 6'5". So the reach is definitely higher, and the advantage is up to him. But it seems like the volleyball gods are not on the Kcca side. Mistakes of this caliber, eating them up and chewing them up and spitting them out. So it is definitely Nemo Stars that is laughing all the way to the scoring point.
I feel like Elijah is just rushing to pass. I mean, I like the diverse talent that we have on the comment box here, me and you using those words, but me thinking technical. Elijah has been the attacker of the day, so he's now thinking more about attacking. Therefore, he wants to rush those passes, and then he rushes to get to score. If you could calm down, we saw that happening with Esa.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Sorry about that. Well, but coach was just trying to explain technically concerning the fact that she has been around the sport for long. She is information, and we're just right here to receive all that knowledge. Coach, continue, please.
Yes, I was saying, so Elijah just needs to calm down, or they can take him out of that passing line because he's been scoring well for them, because Nemo has picked him out. You see, now they've taken him out, but that's another overpass and giving Nemo an opportunity, middle, and there you are.
Exactly. I mean,
I was actually setting in my head. That's why I said middle before he even slipped the ball.
Considering like we just talked about the abilities of that is none other than Redman Malinga. With his height and his length, he doesn't really have to go for power or pace or energy. He just has to dump that ball, either just clatter it off the blockers, drop it behind the blockers, dump it whatsoever, putting his length into use.
And on the ladies' side, Kcca women are through to the semi-finals, beating Ndeje 3-1, but that fourth set comfortable 25-14 to Kcca. Meanwhile, Nemo has also managed to wrap it up through a block to finish the game. And Kcca men have bowed out of the tournament in quarterfinals, as we had predicted.
Actually, I beg your pardon, coach.
Yes, go ahead.
It's actually said Kcca. I'm rather Ndeje instead of saying it was
Kcca.
Yeah, Kcca.
Okay, my apologies. I meant to say Kcca has bowed out in terms of the men's side.
Yeah,
Kcca has
yes.
bowed out. That's what I said.
Oh, yeah, I believe so.
Yes.
So on the other side, I almost thought you're talking